Very good morning. Well, in our yesterday's lecture, we have learnt about Sommerfeld model and the concept of azimuthal quantum number, which he has just brought in. Now, we are going to learn today the most toughest concept, that is Schrodinger's wave equation. You are very much convinced how the evolution of different atomic theories. Initially, you have Dalton's model, where atom is spherical shape and it is hollow, and it's totally outdated topic. And Thomson proved it is not hollow. Some electrons are embedded in a positively charged sphere, and Thomson too failed, and where Rutherford has brought in the concept of nucleus with his gold foil experiment. And later, so the Bohr has established the concept of circular orbits or stationary orbits or definite orbits where electron may not get into the nucleus and collapse. And Bohr's concept is a 2D model. What model? It's a 2D model. Whereas Schrodinger's concept is a 3D model. Now we are getting into the concept like Bohr's concept is a 2D concept, whereas Schrodinger concept is a 3D concept. This is the one of the distinguishing function between Bohr and Schrodinger. And one more distinguishing aspect is the Bohr has considered the electron as a particle, whereas the Schrodinger has considered the electron as a wave, on the basis of de Broglie and Heisenberg. De Broglie is the one who has given the concept of what nature? Dual nature. Electron has both particle nature and wave nature. Similarly, Heisenberg, he established that it has a wave, so there is uncertainty in position and momentum for microscopic particles. For a macroscopic particles you can find. So de Broglie and Heisenberg established the wave characteristic of for a electron. So let us have a look now. This is what is all about the Bohr's concept. The Bohr's concept is a 2D concept. It is a 2D, it's a plain 2D concept. So you have only one aspect to differentiate, that is n, which is a principal quantum number. This principal quantum number talks about the size of an orbit. The size of an orbit. Or it also talks about energy of an orbit. Energy of an orbit. I hope you are very clear. So you can see the concentric circles here. This is the first circle. N is equal to 1, N is equal to 2, N is equal to 3, N is equal to 4, and there is a velocity of an electron moving like this, and it is a radial distance. This distance is called what distance, students? It is called radial distance. What is it? Radial distance. Radial distance, because it is what model? A 2D model. I hope you got it. Now let us move on to our different model. It is 3D. So Schrodinger concept is a what model? It's a 3D concept, as well as so electron is considered as a wave here. Here electron is considered as a wave, and previously electron is considered as a particle. Yeah, hope you understood this. So this is a 3D, you can see here. So for example, if you want to move from this point to this point, how do you go? It's not feasible. You require, so this is a 3 dimension, it is in 3D. So you want to find the electron over here. Okay, it is not plain like this, it is a 2D actually. And now you want to go this way, you want to go this way, you want to go this way, or you want to find an electron over here this way. It is 3D because it has x, y and z axis. But in 2D you have only x and y axis in 2D. But whereas in 3D you have x, y and z axis. So I think two factors I established. One is the wave character in Schrodinger and the particle nature in Bohr's model. So and also here it is a 2D, here it is a 3D concept. So to your surprise, so it is not spherical. S orbital is not spherical. It looks like this. It is, you see, this is S orbital. It looks like a dots. It looks like a dots. So this is what is, this is inside is 1s orbital and outside is 2s orbital. Here 1s, 2s and 3s. That's what exactly is. So this 3D concept is slightly difficult. Of course, you will understand as time progresses. Well, so this is how the p orbital is a dumbbell shape. It is not dumbbell is like this. So you have a dots. You have a probability of these dots is electron density. What is it? It is electron density. I hope you understood this. Yeah. Now let us move on to the next concept, that is Schrodinger's equation. So Schrodinger is the scientist who has established an equation named as Schrodinger's wave equation. So let us see, he is the one scientist. Let us see what is this equation is for. So the Schrodinger equation is generally is a double differentiation. It's a partial differential equation that describes the dynamic of a quantum mechanical system via wave function. Let us see what is this. So the trajectory, that means how the electron is moving, the position of an electron, the energy of the electron, everything has been explained by Schrodinger's wave equation. Now let us see. So first of all, if it is a particle, if electron is a particle, it got a bundles of energy. What is the bundles of energy? H nu. And it also got a momentum, because why? It has a mass. Well, but the wave characteristics is slightly different. It is going to spread over in space in time, because space means is a 3D, and naturally it is represented by a wave function that is called xi. So let us see, this is xi, psi, xi. So let us see how to now. So let us solve the Schrodinger wave equation, assuming that electron behaves like a wave. So let us assume that electron is a standing wave. Here electron is a standing wave. Well, now you can see here the standing wave means it looks like this, the standing wave. So this is the standing wave. I hope you understood. This is a standing wave. Now you know very well, this is lambda, this is amplitude. Okay, yeah. Now if you know the oscillations, xi is equal to a sin 2 pi x by lambda. So what is xi? Xi is the amplitude, a is a constant, x is the displacement, how much extent you have gone here, x is a displacement, and lambda is a wavelength. So first of all, so for a wave, because electron you are considered as a wave, so this electron is moving in the space, because it's moving around the nucleus. So you have given some, if you consider electron as a standing wave, xi is equal to a sin 2 pi x by lambda. So let us move on to the next slide. So this is what is considered, xi is equal to a sin 2 pi x by lambda. Now differentiate. I think you have learned the differentiation basics. So you differentiate with respect to time. So dou psi by, with respect to position. Okay, position along which axis? Along x-axis. Position along x-axis. Now it becomes dou psi by dou x is equal to a 2 pi by lambda. So when you differentiate, you know very well, differentiation of sin x is equal to cos x. I think you have studied. Yeah. So naturally 2 pi by lambda, so into cos 2 pi x by lambda. This is equation number 1. Now let us do double differentiation. Again you differentiate the equation. So naturally this time you know very well. So again if you differentiate d by dx of cos x will be minus sin x. I think you have studied in differentiation in mathematics basics. Yeah. When you differentiate dou square psi by dou x square is equal to a into 4 pi square by lambda square into this is the negative minus sign is there here, check out here. So negative sign is there into sine 2 pi x by lambda. This is equation number 2. I hope you don't have any problem in accepting this. So dou square psi by dou x square minus a 4 pi square by lambda square into psi sine 2 pi x by lambda. So you know very well. So xi, so in the initially, what is xi here? This is initially, xi is given here. So you know the xi value. So xi value is 2 pi a 2 pi sine x. So here you know this value you can see here. So this is this part. You can see here this part. This part is becomes xi. So this becomes xi. I hope you understood. Minus 4 pi square by lambda square here. So minus 4 pi square by lambda square. This part is written over here, and this value is xi. I hope this is the third equation. So let us move on to the next slide. So dou square psi by dou x square is equal to minus 4 pi square by lambda square into xi. This is along which axis? X axis. So you have found the electron position in along which axis? X axis in the three-dimensional space. Now similarly, dou square psi by dou y square is equal to 4 pi square by lambda square into xi. This is which axis? Y axis. Similarly, differentiate do double differentiation with respect to z axis. Similarly, dou square psi by dou x square dou z square is equal to minus 4 pi square by lambda square into psi. So you differentiate along three axes. Now students add this, if you add dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square plus dou square psi by dou z square is equal to minus 4 pi square by lambda square into xi. So you got, so in three-dimensional space you are making an attempt to find the electron. For example, in the three-dimensional space, so you are making a, three dimension, it is in three dimension. So this is x axis, y axis, sorry, you can take other way also, no problem. So this is x axis, this is y axis, the z axis. You don't know in which axis the electron density is there. It may be here electron, it may be here electron, it may be here. Which axis you don't know. So that's why you are differentiating in over all the three-dimensional space. Now, so for timing, just let us keep the whatever you derived aside and just find out what is kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. You know very well, just multiply with m and divided by m, so it will be unchanged. So it is the fourth equation. But here you are considering the electron as a wave. So naturally there is a relation between for the dual nature. So you use the de Broglie concept. De Broglie concept gives the dual nature. So what is the relation? Lambda is equal to h by mv. You know lambda square is equal to h square by m square v square. Nothing is done here. Now m square v square is equal to h square by lambda square. I hope you understood. Now here you got m square v square. Substitute here. Substitute the fifth in fourth. So let us see the next slide. If you substitute here, this is m square v square. So here substitute the value here. When you substitute, you get k is equal to half h square by m lambda square. Now let us come to the first equation in the x-axis. This is the first we have derived it. Dou square psi by dou x square is equal to minus 4 pi square by lambda square into xi. So now here lambda value is there. Substitute the lambda value. Just substitute the lambda value. Here you got the lambda value. Okay. So get the lambda value here from this. So lambda square is equal to from this equation you get the lambda square, because lambda square here you can substitute here. That is the basic idea. So get the lambda square. This is 7. Now k is equal to half into h square by m lambda square. So substitute this value here. Simply substitute the value. What is the lambda square value? Lambda square value will be this one. Minus 4 pi square by dou square psi by dou x square into xi. Okay. Now ke becomes minus h square by 8 pi square m into xi into dou square by dou x square. So now you got the kinetic energy value. Now what you do is, let us take, you know very well, total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So K is equal to E. I am taking total energy as E and potential energy as V. So E minus V. So kinetic energy is equal to E minus V. Now let us go to the next slide. Now, so kinetic energy is equal to E minus V. So kinetic energy value just now you derived here. Last slide you go. So what is this value? This is the value of kinetic energy. Simply you substitute here in the next slide. So substitute the value here. I substituted C minus h square by 8 pi square m into xi into dou square psi by dou x square into E minus V. This is the total energy. This is the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is equal to E minus V. So I can just readjust it. Dou square psi by dou x square, or rearrange it. Dou square psi by dou x square is equal to minus h square by 8 pi square m into xi is into E minus V. Now I can rewrite again this way. Dou square psi by dou x square plus h square by 8 pi square m into E minus V into xi is equal to 0. This is for which axis? X axis. What you have found in the x axis? Kinetic energy. What is this called? Kinetic energy. I hope you understood. So when the electron is moving in the form of a wave or a particle in a three-dimensional space, you have found an equation, a wave equation, so which represents energy or kinetic energy. I hope you understood. Now let us integrate in all the directions in space, all the three axis coordinates like x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So this equation will become dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square plus dou square psi by dou z square plus 8 pi square m by h square into E minus V into xi is equal to 0. This is called Schrodinger's wave equation. Wonderful. Now, if you see the solution of this Schrodinger's wave equation, it is in line with Bohr's energy. So that is the beauty of this equation. So this equation represents what? Kinetic energy of an electron, okay, moving in the three-dimensional space. So when you know kinetic energy also you know, because kinetic energy is equal to minus E. I hope you understood. That means you know the energy. Now, so this is what exactly you have studied now. So what is it? So this is the second derivative with respect to z-axis. For example, this is z-axis. Dou square psi by dou x square, this is x-axis. Dou square psi by dou y square and dou square psi by dou z square. This gives the position in which axis? X-axis, y-axis and z-axis. And this is the energy. Total energy minus potential energy gives what? Kinetic energy, because kinetic energy is equal to E minus V. I hope you understood. Now, and it has a mass. Electron is having a mass. Now, so what is the very important concept? What is the significance of xi and xi square? It's very simple. So xi is called wave function. It describes the position of a particle with respect to time. Okay. Similarly, that means actually truly speaking, xi is not having any significance. No physical significance. The chi square is having significance. So probability of finding an electron is maximum. This is called xi square. It is nothing but orbital, which is called electron's residence. Actually, truly speaking, this orbital concept has come in Schrodinger only, but we have discussed earlier so that for better understanding. So what is xi square? The probability of finding an electron is maximum in the three-dimensional space. That is called xi square. So xi square gives electron density. Now let us learn the physical significance of xi. So so the wave function xi, I convey to you, it has no physical meaning. It is only amplitude of the wave. Now, so the wave function, or you can say RT, RR, XT. X means position. So position of a particle with respect to time. For example, dou psi by dou t, it is with respect to time. Dou psi by dou x with respect to position. It can be considered probability amplitude. So the square of the wave function is nothing but xi square. It gives probability density, exactly where the electron is located. Because, for example, electron is located, it has many dots like this, many dots. Agreed or not? So, for example, if electron is like this, you can see it is like a dumbbell shape. Electron is like this. It is like a spherical shape, s orbital. It is like a p orbital. If electron density is like this, It is like a double dumbbell. You can see here, double dumbbell. So I hope you understood. Now, more the value of probability density, that is xi square, more likely to find the particle in that region. So these are the some of the significance of xi. So I hope you understood. So the importance of xi. So this is what is mentioned also in this slide. So xi into xi is called xi square. So which finds the particle position at that time only, because when time varies, again position will vary. So xi square gives probability density. Very, very important. Yeah. So these are the some of the wave function properties. So let us see these wave function properties now. Now it contains all measurable information about the particle. Fine. Xi square is nothing but probability density, and xi is continuous function. Okay, it allows the energy calculations via Schrodinger equation. So it establishes the probability distribution in 3 dimensions. That means in 3-dimensional space, so all 3 dimensions you will understand where exactly the probability, so where exactly it is located, electron density is located. It is not one electron single is moving there. It is like a probable density, is like a dots actually. You have to understand that. For example, I will show you here. It's like this. For example, it is a nucleus. Electron density will be like this. That's what I am saying. There is no boundary for an electron. That's why atomic radius you have studied. So you got covalent radius. How you have found out? So because there is no boundary for an electron. It is spread over the space. I hope you understood by dots. So I hope you understood. So it is a free particle in a sine wave, implying precisely. I think you have studied these things. Okay, earlier also. So these are all about the wave function. So I hope today you have learnt what is Schrodinger wave equation, and you are making an attempt to find the electron density in the 3-dimensional space. That's why kinetic energy is equal to E minus V. You are finding the kinetic energy of an electron in the 3-dimensional space. So please go through this concept again and again so that you get better understanding. So, and in the next class we are going to come up with so what are nodal planes, what are nodes. So all these concepts you are going to learn in orbital. So thanks for bearing. So good day.